And more tariffs could mean more trouble for Iowa farmers. It could be costing farmers a lot of money.
Tonight, many of America's farmers already feeling the pinch are worried about the possibility of more challenges. That's because President Trump is threatening to deport millions of undocumented immigrants, creating uncertainty about the future of the workforce.
I just noticed behind me John Deere tractors. As you know, they've announced a few days ago that they're going to move a lot of their manufacturing business to Mexico. I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States.
The president casts a net of uncertainty. Every time he makes one of these wild announcements that people are saying, yay, tariffs to China, tariffs to Mexico, tariffs to Canada, USAID, it's over, it's done. Every time he makes those type of drastic announcements, he affects America's farmers.
A very shocking news is coming. John Deere, the famous US company, is now being forced to leave the America due to Donald Trump interference. Donald Trump is saying if they don't listen to Trump, John Deere will have to pay extra money to him. And if not, there is no other option but to leave the America for John Deere. Why does Donald Trump want to kick farmers in the stomach? Why is Donald Trump ignoring agriculture even after the US GDP has gone down? We are going to break everything down in this video. Legendary filmmaker Christopher Nolan showed a polluted and dying Earth right at the beginning of his iconic film Interstellar. No hope, barren lands, no crops or farmland, toxic air destroying every corns and everything. That movie now feels like it was actually predicting the future of the America, and it's happening under Donald Trump's leadership. As you guys already know, farming is already collapsing, and on the top of that, Trump is now targeting companies that support foreign agriculture. Trump is putting pressure on John Deere, the very company that once helped farmers worldwide. Trump clearly said if John Deere invests outside the USA, they will have to pay 200% extra tariff.
President Donald Trump told John Deere leaders he would change the financial landscape if they moved manufacturing out of the United States. President Trump noticed the John Deere tractor sitting near the podium and made a financial threat.
I just noticed behind me John Deere tractors. I know a lot about John Deere. As you know, they've announced a few days ago that they're going to move a lot of their manufacturing business to Mexico. I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States.
But Trump's dictator-like announcement won't be enough to stop John Deere, because John Deere has already fired back. They have made it clear they will do whatever it takes to help boost the American economy, even if that means going against Trump's aggressive stance.
John Deere reacting tonight, the company, after a reaction after President Donald Trump said earlier this week he would impose a 200% tariff on the company if it moves production to Mexico. Now, earlier this year, Deere announced it would be moving part of its production line from the Dubuque John Deere Works to Mexico, also laying off 99 local workers. In a statement to the KWWL News Department here today, John Deere said the layoffs were due to what they called a weakening farm economy in 2024.
Not just that, even Trump's dictatorship style and aggressive Godfather-like tariff announcement is hurting all the people in America. Even leaders from Trump's own Republican Party are not fully happy with the decision. They are saying the tariff is affecting people's life, and it's not good for John Deere either.
Former President Trump has proposed a 200% tariff on John Deere tractors if they're made in Mexico. Are you concerned that some of these tariff proposals by the GOP nominee could drive up costs for consumers or hurt urban exporters in Kentucky, for example?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of tariff. They raise the prices for American consumers. I'm more of a free trade kind of Republican that remembers how many jobs are created by the exports that we engage in. So I'm not a tariff fan.
John Deere is mainly shifting to Mexico because Trump's previous tariff already hurt them badly. Even then, they wanted to increase production to support American farmers more. And since production costs are lower in Mexico, it made perfect sense. And also, Mexico offered to let John Deere do business without any tariff. So why wouldn't John Deere invest in Mexico if it actually helps the people of the USA? But Trump just loves making random announcements based on his own own opinions. He doesn't really care about what is good for Americans. He only cares about what he thinks is right. Even experts agree Trump's tariffs are actually destroying the country's economy.
John Deere announced earlier this year that they would lay off hundreds of workers, I think around 600 odd, at three of their plants and shift production from those plants to Mexico by the end of 2026. What we saw there from Trump is precisely what he needs to go back to. That's America first.
All trade is zero sum. I don't believe that. Tariffs on our products. That's a proper use for tariffs when you're trying to engage in a country who's attacking you. But to use it against an American country who's simply looking for a more efficient way to build their manufacturing facilities because we have an inefficient labor system and regulatory market is not the proper way to use tariffs.
Because of Trump's actions, even John Deere's CEO John C. May is now speaking out, saying that Trump is politically targeting their company and it's putting them at serious risk. And this is the same John Deere that has always worked for the people, always supported farmers, and always prioritized American agriculture.
How some of these impacting your business. You've talked big impact that had last year. Trade has been an issue. What is this tension, if anything?
You know, we have employees and customers in over 130 countries. We have operations located in around 30 countries where we have factories and offices. And our number one goal is to make sure that we're structuring our business in those markets as times change to make sure that we're protecting our assets and investing at the appropriate levels. We've seen lots of changes in trade, lots of changes in political issues come up.
Now many people might ask, what has John Deere done for farmers that Trump hasn't? Well, John Deere has given farmers full ownership and the ability to repair their own equipments with proper tutorial and support so that farmers don't have to suffer or depend on anyone else. Before this, no one was doing and no one was giving this kind of facilities to farmers.
For years, John Deere manufacturers told farmers they didn't have the right to make their own repairs on their purchases.
Tahlil Moeddin shares how a new agreement is making a change and why many farmers are celebrating.
We could fix these equipments ourselves. We know how to fix this. Got an 8330 over there, 95 R70. Then we park our semis in here in the winter also.
In some parts of the country, John Deere dealers can be several hours away. So for some farmers, the agreement also means being able to get to repairs sooner, saving time and money. With the change, farmers will have access to John Deere diagnostic tools and product guides to their own solutions to equipment failures.
And on the other side, what is Trump doing? He is putting tariff on entire agriculture industry and claiming that farmers have enough funds. So apparently this tariff won't harm them. That means Trump is indirectly saying that all the farmers are rich and they will not going to affected by Trump's minimal tariff. So Trump is saying all the tariff he is putting on them is actually means nothing for the farmers.
Agricultural product coming into America, and our farmers starting on April 2nd may be a little bit of an adjustment period, but our farmers are going to have a field day right now. So to our farmers, have a lot of fun.
After hearing Trump's words, American farmers started to criticizing Trump instead. They are even saying Trump is gambling with the lives of the farmers and the damages will only get worse.
The president casts a net of uncertainty. Every time he makes one of these wild announcements that people are saying, yay, tariffs to China, tariffs to Mexico, tariffs to Canada, USAID, it's over, it's done. Every time he makes those type of drastic announcements, he affects America's farmers. We're doing in this country right now, we're gambling with all that.
Gambling with farmers.
Gambling with farmers' lives. They're gambling with my life. They're gambling with my livelihood, man. They want you to show them on paper how you're good for that operating loan and how you're going to pay it back. I can't pay it back with $8 beans and $6 beans and $3 corn.
And it's not just the farmer. Those working in the agricultural sector, retail business are also saying they are losing millions and millions of dollars because of Trump's policies.
The markets I lost personally, it averaged about between $50,000 and $70,000 a year for 4 years running. Well, roughly $250,000 that I lost under Donald Trump.
After these words, there is nothing left to say, except because of Trump, American agriculture is now on the verge of collapse. Trump has pushed even a major American agricultural development and manufacturing company to brink of disaster, and the company is John Deere. Recently, in another speech, Trump said he wants to prioritize other countries to make the USA great again, meaning he wants to show that under his leadership he will do whatever he wants.
Under my leadership, we're going to take other countries' jobs. We're going to bring thousands and thousands of businesses and trillions of dollars in wealth back to the good old USA. We will set up special zones of federal land. These will be ideal spots for relocating entire industries that we've taken in.
After hearing all this, it really feels like democracy in the USA is dying. But companies like John Deere, will they just give up like that? Do you want to see John Deere lose to Trump dictatorship? Remember, the CEO of John Deere himself says the current situation of American farmers isn't good, and that's why they are thinking hard about how to do better for American farmers.
There is no doubt uncertainty right now in the markets, and as a result, that has caused some of our farmers to pause. But what hasn't changed, though, is the fundamentals of agriculture and the real drivers between agriculture. Populations are going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to see improved diets, which means, more wealth, improved diets. They're going to result in more demand in grains and proteins. And as a result, we will come out of this. Our industry will come out of this because we need to meet that productivity and that demand requirement.
And there is a reason behind John Deere's concern. Because of Trump's, the US's GDP is already declining, which is huge shock, as this is the first time in the last 3 years something like this has happened.
A crucial new report showing the U.S. economy shrinking for the first time in 3 years. GDP fell at a rate of 0.3% as President Trump's massive and ever-changing tariffs rattle consumers and businesses. Moments ago, on his 101st day in office, the president tried to pin this data on his predecessor.
So now it's up to you to decide, is the American economy really at risk, threatening the lives of American people? Who do you want to trust? Trump with his unpredictable decisions, or companies like John Deere that has always worked for the good of the America? The decision is entirely in your hands. Make sure to share your opinion. Thanks for watching.